Siona God, hello all. Good afternoon, or whatever. Thank you for watching. So this is day 39 of reading Lone Wolf Alpha Squad copy over by James Rank. And these are his experiences. We're on the last chapter. So he waited a while and added this chapter, chapter 20, in, I think, years later. But anyway. One day, the Alpha Draconians visited our dimension and asked my mom for help with an AI infestation affecting their species. I was one of the 8 volunteers who agreed to help. Once aboard their vessel, the Draco immediately put us in a tube with a green gas to kill us. They then captured our soul and put fragments of our souls into avatar bodies to be sold off to various planetary corporations. Wow. Atlantis, Perseus. As mentioned earlier, remote viewing my records revealed my date of birth was blacked out. I inquired to Peter the Insider why this is so, and he hinted to me that okay, so this is what it says. It had to with Project Name Recovery. So probably it had to do with Project Name Recovery and Surrogate. So unlike most people, when I die, I do not go to a reincarnation cycle and get a new body. Instead, my soul gets shifted around from clone body to clone body, inserted into a segregated family, not of my own choosing. And most of the times, it's multiple clones simultaneously, so I've been alive for as long as I've been in this program. Peter tells me ACIO records only go back 40,000 years, but the surrogate program is much older than that. So Peter was unable to provide me information on when I was born, other than I was born off-world in outer space to a group of human crossbreeds who have no planet of their own to call home. 90% of all humans that live in outer space have more abilities than what we have here on Earth and age 500 times slower than Earth humans. The race of people I came from averaged about 10 foot to 12 foot tall. I agreed to go to planet Earth and help Atlantis enter into a positive ascension timeline. While in Atlantis, I was excelled in my ranks and became a great military general by the name of Perseus. I was tasked to destroy a wicked tyrant queen named Medusa, who had control of everything in her power. She did not have snakes coming out of her head. It was symbolic in meaning only. Before Atlantis went into the sea, I then time traveled to ancient Egypt to help jumpstart that civilization. Hobey Baker, H-O-B-E-Y-B-A-K-E-R. ACIO records reveal, at the turn of the last century, 5% of my soul was in hockey and football MVP all-star player Hobey Baker. He played for Princeton and later national championship teams and became a legend in both sports. During the First World War, he joined the U.S. Army Air Service, and at the conclusion of his service, his plane crashed moments before he was discharged to go home. According to historical records, his plane lifted off at 6:45 a.m. on a cold, foggy day in December 1918, then crashes nose first into the ground, killing him. Remote viewing paints a different scenario. On that day, Hobey sees a flat, light gray color metallic disc following him with a wave pulsing technology that made his plane engine fail. Hobey is teleported onto the vessel in a splintered state. His body is on an operation table and his soul is outside of the body, watching everything. He is in shock and frightened and doesn't understand why he is out of his body. He was interfered with all his life, so this abduction was just another part of their plan. They want one of those crystalline souls to get a certain number of experiences, fragment the soul, and then the abduction happens. The ship appears to be some kind of Fifth Reich Dark Fleet vessel aboard a Pleiadian/Nordics hybrids, reptilians, and Germans. He is a genetic project of theirs. The Nazis put a 3D printed clone of Hobey back on the aircraft, which is designed to die within 4 hours. The clone and plane then crash into the French countryside at 7:15 a.m. This is a channeled message from Hobey about his lifetime, in quotes. Those pretty looking beings with blue eyes and blonde hair changed my DNA. They wanted me to be an athlete and wrote the life story I was supposed to follow. I did not know the script, but my subconscious knew. The core of the spirit of the whole spiral of lives comes from those beings. My life was all about training and not much time left for anything else. I was really sad about it all. I felt like I was being pushed by unseen forces. I liked performing, but it felt like I was running all the time without any rest. End quote. Hobey's body was then modified to become more cyborg-like, with a black box with tubes coming out of his energy body near the back of his neck. This tube was connected to the spaceship used to program him, and from there, this energy tube would connect to me in my life. This way, I would never be able to connect to these memories, and they could hijack my consciousness to drain me of my energy and prevent me from accessing my own gifts and abilities. Ugh, I'm trying to hurry because I'm ready to start the next book. Here's the logo of the beings who abducted Baker. Blue on the left shield and red on right. This symbolizes the two-color blood. Whenever, the whenever is space. It says when, space, ever. You see these snake logos, it means they are using some type of venom or artificial chemicals to inject and genetically modify the body with reptilian DNA infusions and experiments. Once the Fifth Reich got a hold of his body and soul, they began to change his DNA to be more reptilian, drawing courtesy of McKenna. So here's the shield. Oops, let's see if I can get it to focus. And then here's that guy that looks a lot like James Rink from 1918. After faking his death, he was then taken to the Area 51 to work for the Labyrinth Group, which is a type of super soldier security force. Hobie, it just made me think of the Labyrinth and all the other things that they associate with that. I wonder if they're trying to tell us something through that. I don't know. Hobie says, and this is in quotes, "My body was harvested at the Area 51 facility for multiple DNA samples to make a total of 11 clones. They wanted to make 15, but their genetic experiments did not work on 4 of the clones. Life at Area 51 was not very good. My soul remained separate from my original body while it remained in stasis. They would levitate my original body in a capsule pod on the floor, which was filled with a clear gas. My clone bodies were placed, it says were placed tables where they would attempt to open up the muscle and capillary tissues. Under a microscope, they would analyze how the blood flows in the brain and used a machine to compress the air to see how the neurons and tiny vessels would react. A lab tech would use some glass iPad device to activate various virtual reality scenarios to determine how the clones will respond in various environments. They would then put my soul back into these clones to be used for travel in space, the moon, and off-world. I spent nearly 200 years in different alternative realities with different events so they could test how I would perform in each one and what skills I would use. This is circular, and they kept building up my missions in a spiral motion, expanding them, testing new technology. They put our consciousness into each one of these bubble pocket realities they create, which connect to already existing realities, resulting in altering mission programs in the way that they want them to. I was with you listening to your interrogation sessions and managed to pull myself out of there because I understood I could and it was time. End quote. Hobie's energy is very similar to my own. He is calm, yet he can do things quickly in a very analytical manner. The more I think about him, the more I was able to lend him my own energy so that part of our soul could use it to escape through a portal into another universe. He says his soul fragment is free now, but his cyborg body currently resides in stasis at Black Shield in Antarctica. Occasionally, they arouse him into consciousness to perform more experiments, then sedate him and return him back to stasis. Hobie Baker was one of the first early successes of Project Surrogate. He was a guinea pig and had multiple layers of programming. His DNA was harvested for other eugenic experiments of creating hockey legends Wayne Gretzky, Sidney Crosby, Russian Alexander Ovechkin, Ovechkin, and as well as a basis for my current body as James Rink. What? Though I never played hockey before in my current life, my family members are active in the sport. Sidney Crosby's trainer was Wayne Gretzky. He is from the former Soviet Union in Belarus. And I remember watching Wayne play on TV. Anyway, it is well known that former USSR hockey players trained with extremely heavy lead suits, weighing around 80 to 100 pounds. There were many rumors, that they were being prepared for a special top secret USSR space program. ACIO records also reveal my Project Paperclip Nazi handler on Mars was Klaus von Buren. He loved hockey, and he subjected me to virtual reality simulations in the trip chair so I could play in the youth hockey leagues on Mars. I think Max Spears eventually murdered him. He was Max's handler as well. In this surrogated lifetime, I was even given the last name Rink in honor of my past hockey achievements. That's crazy. He tells me more about his life and how he cloned out by the MAITRE. And then this is in quotes. In hockey, it's not about the game you play, it's about positioning of players on the field. Strategy and tactics create a layer of protection all around you. From there, you can touch or shoot. In front of me, I see a map of all the layers of the battlefield. I can also read their minds and see their strategies, and I can make 28 strategies ahead of them in my mind. They would take kidnapped people like me from planet Earth, to the moon to insert things into their heads, hearts, and organs. Once they captured me, various groups got a hold of my DNA and made clones. The moon base I was taken to looks half lit with many abandoned rooms and some offices with guards. The domes outside look abandoned. There are empty hangar bays on the moon. If you take the elevator down, you may notice they are moving everything to another solar system and Mars. Eventually the moon is going away. Here the mater, MAITRE, would put me in a simulation skating rink that is round in shape. There are lights over the rink. The floor looks glassy, smooth, blue, and crystalline. In the simulation, I would hover over the rink. I do not need skates. I know the moves. There are projectors above me creating layers of moves. I see other players entering the arena. I freeze time, and in a split second, I do my moves. The simulation changes, and I am now in a huge, giant dome. There are military officers here with dark uniforms and reptilians wearing robes. I also see Draco wearing metal armor to protect their chest, and they are wearing belts, and some have devices that look like watches. They instruct me to continue with my training, and then a round hovering disc follows me around the arena, recording my thought processes. In my mind, I see a geometrical shield of protection that allows me to reach frequencies, positions, and specific points in order to control the puzzle pieces around me. Ultimately, they determine I am best used as a navigator. All the best sports players on Earth are used as navigators out here. It doesn't matter which sport. They want the fastest and smartest people. Even video games are used to train and record people within the computer system. Every move is put into the database. They used one of my clones in the Mater ship. It looks like 4 spheres connected together with metallic tubes. The center sphere is a command center, and its base is flat. The inside is huge, like mothership size. On board, there are 4 Mater beings with reddish-brown skin and a circle face. They are constantly attacking the moon in order to take the strategic positions, but Darkfleet does not want to give it to them. They think they can take more and more over and force everyone else out, back on planet Earth. They control underground bases like Area 51 and threaten humans. If you don't agree with them, they will take what they want by force. The Mater ship has all kinds of levels where they train and do research. They capture people, clone them, enslave them, or genetically modify them to create an army of super Mater. Their DNA has degraded and deactivated over time. They are also not fully biological. Their core is AI, and outside it is biological. They want to create humans to be just like them with a core of AI. Wow. But outside looking human. Currently, 0.03% of Earth's population are cyborgs constructed by the Mater, and they are generally tasked as transport mules in the SSP. They don't have empathy or feelings and just do the job for the Mater. The cyborgs travel in the Swiss Alps into their bases. They want secrecy and do not like that there are villages on the surface nearby. Underground, there's a huge military cloning facility where they made numerous clones of me. My clone copies do not perform as well as the original version of me. They use these clones for repeat 20-year missions with different alien groups to go further into the universe to discover new galaxies, technology, and DNA. However, advanced cultivations do not give out DNA, and especially not to the Mater. The Mater need male and female clones to reproduce and to infiltrate and to take over. They sought me because I had the right DNA and because of my experiences in my past incarnations. The clones in the lab are grown in spheres with membranes around them. They inject compounds in the bubbles in the ball, and it merges into the body in a crystalline spider web-like manner. They would prep me for missions dependent on the substances injected. I'm gonna leave it at that. Then the go love you minute.